Hello. It's been a while. I know I'm a little late to the party about my reactions and my thoughts and feelings about the DanDaDan Season 2 trailer that is available right now, that came out 2 days ago. A few reasons. One, I've actually got a pretty bad fever, so that's kind of the reason why I wasn't able to make a video or talk about it, for one. And two, with things going on in my personal life, that's why I was a little busy. So, that out of the way, yeah, I want to talk about the DanDaDan season two trailer. How my thoughts and feels about it. So, the season two trailer has officially been out for the past 2 days now, as of me recording this video, and I absolutely love it. It's a great 1 minute 30 seconds of what's to come, and given like the hype surrounding DanDaDan season two and how impressed I was with the first season of DanDaDan from last year, I think it's safe to say that season two is going to go down as like one of the biggest, most hyped shows to come out of the year. And the fact it's going to come out next season of 2025 this year is really great. Now, I think we can already agree that like the animation is fire, the soundtrack is fire, the voice acting for the up and coming second season from this trailer alone is freaking fire. And I think we can definitely agree that Don Don in the number two placement in the summer 2025 highly anticipated anime run ups is definitely worth the placement at the moment. Of course, we have a ton of other shows here that I am definitely planning to watch that I will make a future video on in terms of what I'm planning to watch for the summer 2025 season. And I also want to kind of dive in deep into like some key shows in here. I think you already got spoiled away from the tabs, but some shows that I'm just a little bit concerned about because given how great the trailer for Dawn on season two was, and how impressed I was, and how much anticipation and how much more expectations this show is going to have to leave me into believing, I am a little worried about some shows to come out in this next season because, as you know, the spring 2025 season at the moment, there isn't really a lot of shows to really talk about or gush over grades about. Again, you could say that Lazarus could be a big show to talk about, Windbreaker Season 2, the new Fire Force season, or even this piece of shit show, which I've already talked about numerous times already as to why it's one of the worst shows of the year. Again, there's really not much to talk about with the spring season of at the moment. However, for the summer 2025 season, there's a lot of big names and hitters that a lot of people, as I'm just scrolling down right now, everyone should know these shows one way or another, whether they're good, whether they're bad. And I'm just going to go through the ones that I mainly am concerned about the most, that have the most hype around it. So, for starters, I'm worried about Sakamoto Days. Sakamoto Days Part 2, exactly. Sakamoto Days, if you remember my review of it initially earlier this year, I gave Sakamoto Days a light 7, light to decent 7 if I'm not mistaken. And my feelings of the show still to this day rings true is that I feel like the first half of Sakamoto Days, it's truly holding itself back and it's not giving us like the best of what's to come. And unfortunately, it just feels like it's kind of following its other successful predecessor that a lot of people are making comparisons of, even to this day after Sakamoto Days has officially concluded airing for the first half, and that is that it's reminiscent of Spy Family to an extent. And again, I there's no trailer dropped for Sakamoto Days Part Two, but I have to tell you right now is that they gotta pull out all the stops for this second half of Sakamoto Days, because otherwise, this show will unfortunately be forgotten in recent anime memory. So I'm hoping that Part Two does well, but again, anything can happen with this show at this point. Considering that it did leave off on a really strong, really interesting cliffhanger on the first half, the second half needs to go way harder than it should. Next, though, another show that's going to be coming out for the summer season is Rise of Shield Hero Season 4. Man, what can truly be said about this show that hasn't been said already? If you don't know the show and why this show is probably the most divisive show even to this day, it is mainly thanks to season 3, but more specifically, how disappointing season 2 was to come out in 2022. And believe me, I was one of those people that went into this second season with high hopes, especially considering that I was really impressed with the first season. And with the second season drop, I was completely disappointed with how much of a different direction the show went to. And even though, yes, season three did pick up the pieces a little bit from 2023, it to me it just wasn't enough to pick it up to its full throttle action, nuts to butts, serious moments that made it good. So I gotta tell you, sports fans, season four, they gotta pull out all the fucking stops with this show because at this point, it's either this show either goes big or goes home. Because right now, I don't know if this fourth season is gonna hit the same way that it did in the earlier seasons. And given how, again, disappointing the last two seasons were and left a pretty bad sour taste in everybody's mouths, it's only a matter of time of if this show's gonna do super well or not. And finally, another show that I wouldn't say was disappointing to come out last year per se, but is a show I am a little concerned about is the second season of Kaiju number 8. Now, if you remember Kaiju number 8 from last year's Kaiju number 8, when I first remember watching it, I thought it was a really good show. It was a really nice, really entertaining show, and a really good, popular show that really got people talking about the show. A lot of people like picking their favorite characters left and right, and you have a main character that basically everyone can root for and relate to, etc., etc. But with that being said, I feel like just like what happened with Sakamoto Days, the first half of it, I just feel like Kaiju number 8 was also holding some things back from each other. Like again, don't get me wrong, the animation of the first season of Kaiju number 8 is still amazing. The action is still stellar, and the drama and the buildup of characters and world building is still amazing. But I do think that it is honing itself back when looking back at Kaiju number 8, the first season. And, excuse me, given that the second season is going to be hyped as like the biggest talking point of Kaiju number 8, it does leave me with a lot of high expectations and hoping that the show does what it did really well in the first season, but 20 times better. But again, there could be a 50-50 chance that this show could fumble the bag and be a disappointing show, to say the least. So, and I think I'm going to leave it at that. But again, these are the main three shows I'm concerned about overall because the reason I want to talk about Kaiju number 8, Shield Hero, and Sakamoto Days is mainly because of DanDaDan Season 2. Because again, DanDaDan Season two's trailer more or less showcased that it has a lot cooking in the oven and it is not going to run empty anytime soon. And given like that, we not only have Dawn on season two coming out in the summer, we have the Sona Biscuit Doll season two coming out next season. We have Call of the Night season two coming out as well. Even Grand Blue season two, which is what the hell, we're getting a second season of Grand Blue. Even another Bunny Girl no Senpai spinoff. Like what? But either way, there's a ton of shows here coming out for the the summer 2025 season. That's going to be like a massive holy crap moment. And I'm just more or less pointing out the main three shows that I'm just concerned about when going into next season per se. So yeah, I just want to talk about this a little bit. And yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Later.